Yeah, I need feedback since I think I can get solid feedback. Stefan.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Um,
All right, good. Do you have Blender opened up? Oluwaseun, how about you?
yes, yes.
Yeah, Oluwaseun, how about you? Hello. Okay, so let me just go through. Since our last class we kind of wasted a bit of time in the last class week, so we're a bit behind schedule. All right. So by now we should actually be talking about some other modifiers. So like we'll be talking about three more very important modifiers. They are very important. But unfortunately, we need to finish those things that we didn't do in the last class, so we can have an idea because we'll be using those in the next subsequent assignments. Okay, so let me start sharing my screen now so we can begin. Okay, you're welcome, Mr. Damilola. You're welcome. Okay, I believe we can all see my screen now. Hello.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yeah. Oluwasho, can you hear me now? Okay, good. All right. Okay, so like in the last class, we okay, we started with curve objects and we did a bit of exercise with the curve objects. So in this class we'll finish up because there's still a few techniques about the curve object that we haven't spoken about, and that's very important. To be very very it will speed up your walkthrough, and also we'll be talking about text objects. Now the trick with the options with text objects and curve objects are very similar, but not so the same, but they are similar actually. So and there's not big much to it. So we'll try to quickly finish that up, and then we'll move into what we have today, and hopefully we'll be able to finish what we have today. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to open up the last class. Okay. Okay, so I think this is what we did in last class. Okay, and also was everybody able to do this? The assignments. I only have a handful of people that have done the assignments. Hello, I need feedback now. Hello.
Hello, guys. Sorry, this is actually my first class. Like, I've been really super busy all this while, so this is just the first class I'm attending. I've not even installed the Blender app yet.
Wow. Wow. We have a problem. Okay, but don't worry. We'll attend to we'll address that shortly. Maybe by the end of class we'll address that. But you've actually missed quite a few things, but it's still nothing that you can't catch up. If you watch
Sorry, boss. Has any of our classes been recorded?
all the classes have been recorded, and all the classes are on the YouTube page, I believe. Masirichi.
Please, I'll need
Yes,
the
all
link.
classes are available on our YouTube page.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. Let me check it out.
All right. You're welcome to Lilope. Yeah. Even though you're supposed to be fined for coming late. All right. So please turn up your system and turn on Blender so we can go through this as fast as possible. Okay, so like I was saying, I believe every one of us was able to do this for the assignments, but I'm sure quite a few of us had some issues. I know for one that who messaged me? I think it was Absalam also. That messaged me about this, and we were able to do some things there. All right, so in this class, I still want to teach you one more thing about curves, and then you'll be able to, and then your assignment, you model the spiral stairs, but this time you model everything completely. Is someone saying something? Okay, but this time you'll be modeling the whole thing completely. Yeah, I think this was the reference we were working with. This was the reference we were working with. But in this case, you model everything, all the railings, the everything, and lastly, you'll be adding your name.
Sorry, sir. Sir, please, is it okay if I leave the class now? Later, after watching the videos of the previous classes, I'll get back I'll continue later on because now I'm not following at all.
Okay, yeah, you can.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so the rest of us, can we all hear me? Dolope and everybody. Okay, all right. I just need maybe show of hands if you can hear me. Stefan and Oluwasho. All right, good. This is very important that you follow along. We are okay. Let me just state this. It's very important that you pay. If you've not been paying close attention before, as you proceed now, start paying serious attention because we are getting to the part of Blender where Oluwasho, you can put your hands down. I can see. You are getting to the part of Blender where it's becoming, I won't say complex, it's becoming a little bit more intensive, basically. So that's why it's important that you should have a good knowledge of all the things we've done before, because as of now, as we go on now, it will be a serious build up on all the things we've done before. So if you don't have all this foundational knowledge, you have it, you find it very difficult to understand the things we do subsequently now. So it's very important. Pay serious attention. If for anything, if for any reason your communication broke or you lost or you didn't hear any last statement, immediately call me back. It's very important now because and in the next class, that's tomorrow. Yes, we'll start with texturing. Tomorrow we'll start with materials and texturing, and that's another world in Blender entirely. So it's very important to pay attention. So we're coming to the end of modeling, or not more like we've gone into a point where I believe you should have a very good knowledge of modeling now. So most of subsequent classes after this week, after next week, basically, I will not be modeling any assignment that I give you now. Won't be modeling it in class. Won't be doing it in class. I just give you a reference. I'll say go and do this. Take show it and do or any instruction I tell you to do to it, and then you just do it like that. It's not as if I will put you through particularly. Then probably in the next class we'll now run through it and discuss. So please pay close attention. Oluwashon, you said the assignments link wasn't working. I'm not sure why. Okay, but all right, we'll talk about that at the end of class. Please just note this and remind me at the end of the class. Okay, Oluwashon. All right, you can remind me about this at the end of class. We'll talk about it. Okay. So going back, I believe we can all see my screen now. So before we begin, did anybody have any issue with creating this? Any other issue? You can unmute your mic now. I can't see the page. Hello. Hello.
I don't have any problem.
Okay, no problem, bro. What about you, Tolu? Tolu? Okay, but were you able to do it though? Oh, okay, okay. It's well with you. All right, so let me just get on to the last few things I wanted to talk about in curve mode. I think I should hide all this. Um, Maybe even delete it. But let me just create a new Blender file. Let me put a new Blender file. Delete everything. Okay, now so one thing I wanted to mention um in curve mode is you one very powerful thing that you can do with curves is if you go into all these modern houses or all these fancy houses. Can you see my screen right? There's something I want to show you. Can you see my screen? Just reply if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, you know this wooden stuff that is usually at the walls or at the lower part of walls of
Yeah, yes.
fancy houses. Yeah, this wooden stuff goes around. It goes around the entire house, right?
Yes, boss.
In this case, it's wooden. Sometimes it's maybe marble, maybe what they call it, POP, or it can be made of any material basically. But usually very short like this and goes around the house. So now, if you were making a wall, right, and you were to model that, it will be quite cumbersome to start modeling everything one by one, the whole thing at every point of the house and stuff. But in um you can simply use curves to make that quite easier for you. All you have to do is let me add in a curve. Let me say this is a curve, and I think we didn't talk about the different handle types of a curve. So let's kill all those birds with one stone. Let me add in a basic curve. Now I told you that basically all the curves do the same thing, right? Right. But they like Bezier and circle. They are the only ones that have handles. The handles are like vertices. So let me add different type of curve so you see what I mean. So this is a basic curve. This is a basic curve. Let me move it to this side. Let me add in another type of curve. Let's say this is a circle. It's still a curve. Let me add in. I don't know. Let me say path. Now I don't want to talk too much about this one, the rest, because they're slightly different, and it's if we're to talk fully about it, especially this sapling tree gen, we'll be having it's be at like an entirely new class. There's a lot to talk about on that, but basically,
Um, how did you get so much more options from your course, please? Is it
okay,
an add-on
yeah,
or something?
okay, yeah, yeah. So, like I said, if you are opening curves, right, and you don't have as much as options as this, don't worry about that. I actually did an add-on. I actually enabled an add-on that made me have more options. So if you don't worry about that. But I'm sure whichever your own blender, you have all these three types of curves. Definitely, you have um basic curves, you have circles, and you have a path, right?
Yeah, I do have this.
Exactly. So those are the only ones we're talking about. The rest are kind of advanced, and yeah, basically they are kind of advanced. Okay. So now let me just show the difference between all these. So in basic curves, I told you we have the handles. I can actually you can manipulate the handles to change the shape of your curve, right? That's it with basic curves. Now, a circle is like a basic curve that is bounded on its end. Okay, so let me open it. So this is how a circle looks like. So this is still a curve, but the curve is bounded on its end, so you can actually manipulate it to whichever way you like. I don't know, do this, rotate. Yeah, can go crazy with it. Okay, and I remember in last class I said you can subdivide curves. Like if you want to create another handle in between these two handles, for example, you select one, you hold shift. Oh, sorry, let me turn on my screencast keys. Mhm. Okay. All right. So yeah, I said if you wanted to create another handle between two vertices, you just select the two vertices and you right click, and then you click subdivide. Okay, subdivide will create another handle in between two of them, in between the two handles here. Okay, so that's it about circles. Circles are bounded. Now, just so you know, you can actually turn a basic curve. Notice I just went back into in and out of edit mode for this. Okay, so if this is a basic curve, you can actually turn this one into a circle too. All you have to do is you just bound it, you just make it closed. And to make this closed, you come here into the curve data properties. Okay, then you click on the data properties, and then um you go to active spline. I believe that's it. Yeah, active spline, and then you click this. You tick this cyclic. Once you tick that, it will join. It will make the whole thing a closed loop. Okay, and if you don't want it to close loop, you untick it. Same thing for this circle. The circle that is already a closed loop. If you want to break the closed loop, okay, just come to the active spline. Under this active spline, you click the drop down, and then you untick this to break the closed loop. But if you want to make it the closed loop back, you tick it. Okay, so that's basically the difference. All the other options, the same thing. They apply the same way. You can extrude it. You can increase the depth, and you can increase the depth to make it like a pipe or like a hose. You can extrude it. You can offset it, just slightly offsetting it from its original and natural axis. Okay, extruding it is just making it taller or shorter, depending on your preference. And then this resolution, it will add some details. You can, if you notice that it's kind of like having flat edges here. If you wanted to make it more the curve smoother, you can just increase this resolution here. But bear in mind that as you increase the resolution, it will also increase your geometry size and generally make your blender maybe lag or slower. Okay, so you want to, usually I don't usually touch it because it's the resolution is usually okay. Okay, notice that I'm reducing the resolution. Let me shade flat so you can see better. Good. Yeah, what I did was I just changed the shading to flat. We spoke about this in previous class, so I don't talk too much about that. So if you increase the resolution, you'll be able to see the resolution change now here because of the edges that are visible. So if you increase the resolution, you can see that it's getting smoother, smoother, and more detailed. Okay. All right. So these are the basic uh, options for curves, and for parts the same thing. But in parts don't have handle. That's the only difference between parts and curves. Okay. Parts. This is the person of parts. So where is it? Yeah, this is what I added. Created the part. Okay. So parts don't have handles. Notice I'm in edit mode of the part now, but instead of handles, it has vertices that you can actually manipulate. And when I select a vertex and I maybe grab to move it around, you can see how it's affecting the shape of the curve. This yellow line is not actually the curve itself, because if I go into organisms, that's not the curve, but it's actually just the handles, more like points versus that you can manipulate to change the shape of the curve to what you desire. Okay, so now to one very interesting and powerful tools for powerful thing that you can do with curves is you can change the profile of a curve. What do I mean by changing the profile of a curve? Look at this now. The curve is looking like a tube circle, it's looking like a tube circularly. So if you wanted to do something like if you wanted to create an anime here, or let me, there are some things you can, if you want, like for example, you want along the part of the cube, you want some parts to be big, some parts to be small. How do you do that? Because you can't really just go into edit mode. Maybe you take one of the handles and you scale it down. If you scale it down, it will only scale the the handle itself. But if you want to scale like the profile, like the thickness around the around the curve itself. How do you do that? You press Alt S, okay? Alt S will scale that. So you can see that now this looking kind of like an earring, but you can see that it's along the profile. This part is smaller than the remaining part, and you can do that for any of the other parts too. Rather than just press S, you press Alt S, and it will scale it about its axis, about its natural axis, and you can go crazy with this. Maybe Alt S, make it bigger. I don't know. Or if you have a good imagination, you can already picture some weird things that you can do with this to make your work flow much faster. And same thing goes for all the other type of curves. Let me take this one for example. Um, Let me add some depth so you can see the effect of the scaling. Okay, so let's go into the depth. So increase it to add some depth. Okay. Okay, so we have the depth now. It's looking like a basic hose, but if you want to make like sorry, let me make it this way. You want to make like the horn of a cow, for example. Okay, you just take the end here and press Alt S. You scale it downward. Alt S, scale it downward, and like that, as simple as that, we already have the horn of a cow, or maybe I don't know, a kind of spike of a tree or a vine or something like that. So exactly, those are the kind of things you can use curves for. It's very powerful. Your imagination is your limit, so you can just edit the shape, grab this, move it around. I believe we're following me what I'm doing. Hope what I'm doing is not similar images. So, hello. Okay. Um. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, exactly. That's just the basic thing about curves. Um. Your imagination is your limit. Now, the last thing I want to tell you about curves, pay attention to this very well. It's still about if you want to change the nature of the profile, okay? So let's say um you wanted to make an anime hair, right? And those of us that watch anime, you know what I mean? Let me okay. I want to show you what I mean. Maybe if you're modeling a character, I wanted to make the hair of an anime. Okay, you notice that the hair here, for one image that shows it clearly. Okay, let me use this one. Notice that the hair itself is like it's like a it's like a 3D solid object, right? So if you wanted to do this by hand, it's a nightmare. You like I don't know if you wanted to model all these things by hand, you might go crazy. Okay, so there's one simple way and one shortcut way you can do that with curves. That's very powerful. So what do? You add in a curve. Let me go into object mode. Um, you add in two curves. Okay, let me delete everything here. So start over. Okay, so you add in a curve. Let's make I want to use a path. Okay, so let's take path for example. So we've added a path here, right? You'll now add in another curve. I prefer is you likely want to go with a circle this time. A circle, okay? So you've added a circle and a path, okay? So now let's bring the circle, let's separate them. So this is the circle, this is the path, and this is the circle, right? So what will you do? You take this curve, the curve that is supposed to look like the head, that's this one. Let me add some depth, okay, so we can see it properly. So let me add some depth. If you add some depth by default, to just become like a pipe. You take the curve, right? Now in this or in the bevel options, right? In the bevel option where you added the depth, it's round is selected now. But what you now select is you select object. Okay. Now don't worry if this disappears because we are in a different kind of selection. So you select objects. Now, rather in this object, you see this eyedropper to the same we had in the array when we're doing array stuff. Okay, so you click the eyedropper tool and you now use this. You now go to this the second is it will take the profile of the circle object as the cross section of your curve. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So that means you can come into the edit mode of this curve, and it's in real time. So anything you do to it will affect it. If you come edit mode of this, you can grab it around. And you see that it's affecting the curve here. So you can come here. Let me go to the top so you can see properly. You can maybe bring it out here. Maybe bring this one up. I don't know. Just edit in a very, like, your imagination is your limit. Is your limit. I want to scale this down and scale this down. Okay, scale this down. Now notice that it looks like the shape here. That's the shape that we'll have here too. Also, exactly. Now it's not yet looking like an anime here, but what if I now come into the edit mode? No, I noticed I went back to object mode. I now select the actual hair. Now come into edit mode. Select one of the um one of the ends and then scale it down. Remember how I told you scale cross section is Alt S. Okay, not S now, but S. Scale it down to the barest minimum. You do the same thing with this. Alt S. Okay, and scale it down to the barest minimum. Okay. So now it's looking more like a hair. You can scale this out, and now you can now start editing it to the profile of the head. Hello, I hope you can understand what I'm saying. So now you've made now is essentially done now is you've made one strand of the anime hair. Then you can now duplicate the strands, and then edit the curves, and that's how you can create anime hair in Blender in 3D very fast, quickly. Because if you wanted to do this by hand, it will be very difficult, and you won't have flexible controls over it as such. Okay, you understand what I just did? It's too quiet for my understanding, for my liking.
Good afternoon. I know I'm just joining, but I don't understand. Sorry.
First of all of you that are just joining, you need to be fine. I don't know. This is almost 40 minutes after class. I don't know why you guys are late.
Yeah, so I'm actually out. That's why I'm just joining now, and I'll soon leave again once because it's almost prayer time, and I'll come back later. So sorry about that.
Okay.
It's Friday.
Okay, so
But I understand what you're doing though.
All right, I'll run over it again. Tosin and Mustafa, you guys, and Mubarak. Okay, I understand Mubarak giving an excuse, but Tosin, what's your excuse? I think this is your first class with us, is it? Hello. Oh, she's off. Okay, Mustafa, what's your excuse? Why are you just joining us?
Actually, I made an excuse from Maserishi this morning that I won't be able to join because I'm in the workshop, so I'm working on myself. So I just decided to join to check what was going on. So I'll soon be off back.
Okay, I understand. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so your excuse. All right, so try and watch the YouTube the class.
Okay,
Right?
sir. Okay, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
good. Okay, good. All right, so we said we understand what I did, right? I saw someone's hand. I think I saw Stefan's hand. That you understand what I'm doing, right? And then Oluwaseun. Okay, so let me continue. So that's that. If you want to just think of whatever you're modeling. If you want to change the profile of that, if you want to have control of the specific profile and specifically, you can actually use this. Now, if for those of us that are actually quite like you're quite how do I put it? You're smart. You notice that with this knowledge, we can actually create that the jet engine that we did, the blade of jet engine, using only this. So it's basically the same thing, and this one will even give us a lot more flexibility, and it's actually a lot more. It's a lot easier actually, because let me try and do it with the create the jet engine blade with just the curves. So you see what I mean. So let me go into back into object mode and let me delete everything. Okay. So first we add. Let me use a path because it's easier. I added a path. So rotate the path. Let me make it stand upright, maybe on the x-axis. Sorry. Rotate it on the y-axis. Sorry, 90 degrees. Okay. So I just rotate it to stand on this to stand straight. Okay. So now if we go into we add another curve. So this time a circle. Remember, we add a circle. Okay. So you can move the circle anyway, just to get it out of the way. Okay. So now remember I said you come here to the bevel mode, to the bevel, this bevel here, then you click object. Now the round is the one that is selected by default, but you want to click object. Okay. So now just like we did in the array, when we're doing array, you have an object like this. Then you now click on this eyedropper tool, but you're now be using the second circle, the second curve to manipulate the profile of the turbine blade. Okay. So now by default it will be a circle because this is already a circle. Okay. So but if you now start manipulating this to change the shape and the orientation, so now all we have to do is to make this look like the cross section of our jet engine jet engine. Let me bring up references for us. So all right. Okay, good. I'm looking for one that has the blades, that shows the blade properly. Let me just manage this one. Let me manage this one. Okay. So just to get the profile of the jet engine blades, we are even search jet engine blades to get properly. I'm looking for that has the full profile of the jet engine blade, so I can shape properly, so I can model it appropriately. Let's just manage this one. Exactly, so we can see how the blade is twisting and looking twisted. I remember I told you that the cross section of the blade is looking like an airfoil, so we can easily actually do that without having to, when we did the jet engine, we had to start rotating each of the listing at the points, and then you at the editing was kind of rigid. You didn't really have real-time control of the whole thing. But in this case, you'll be able to. Oh, just bear in mind this is still there, but the reason why it's looking as if it's not there because I'm viewing from the top. Okay. So now let me just try to create the F4. So F4 looking like this. Let me bring this one closer. So now let me scale this. Let's scale this one also. Let me select both here and grab them up to create that F4 looking shape. Okay. Let me this one. Okay, the fill end is smaller. Yeah. Okay, maybe make it close like this. All right, so I've created an F4 shape. I've noticed that just by doing that, the curve shape has also been modeled after the F4 cross section. Okay, and I said that we can actually scale each point, each vertices. Let me go into edit mode of this curve. You can scale each point to make the profile small, each of the profile section to be smaller. So let's say you wanted this top to be bigger, you can just scale it out. Sorry, you can just scale it out. But if you press S now, it will not work like that. So you have to press Alt S, because when you're scaling curve, it's kind of more tricky. It's like kind of tricky. If you press S, if it's a curve that has a handle, this is a part curve, that's why it doesn't have a handle. But if it's a basic curve, it will only scale the handles and not the profile itself. But if you want to scale the profile, actually press Alt S. Alt S will scale the profile. Okay, that's it. Just as simple as that. This one is like is actually an easier way of creating the jet engine that we did in the previous class. So what I can just do is Alt S, because jet engine blade is bigger on one side than the other. But before I do that, I'll be using professional editing because I want to scale everything to look like a V, to have like a V shape, okay? But I don't want to select everything because if I do that, the scaling will be weird. Right, yeah, that's what I mean. I want it to be somewhat V. So what I will do is I'll go into the constant, okay? So have a constant flow. Let me increase the circle of influence. Okay, so let me scale this. Okay, Alt S to scale this. Excellent. Maybe make it bigger. Good. And as simple as that, I've created the jet engine blade, the jet engine the turbine blade. Okay. So what I can now do is I can now, the same way we're rotating this, but we'll have more control now. So we can now select maybe the first few ones, and you rotate. Sorry, let me turn off the option editing. Rotate on the Z by, let's say, I don't know, 30 degrees. Um, okay, I'm thinking I should maybe change it a bit. This is okay for me. Yeah, this is okay for me. All right. Yeah, let me just leave it at this for now, just for illustration purposes. Yeah, okay. Let's leave it for now. So like the same way we did the previous one, we can now add. Remember, you can still add array modifiers to curves. So you can add array modifier. Let me add an empty. Sorry, I don't have an empty. Let me add a cube this time. It's just an empty. Please bear in mind, this is not a mesh, so it won't not making any big deal. Oh, sorry, shouldn't have scaled it. Remember, if you scale and if you manipulate your object offset, it will mess with the array offset. Okay, so you now add the array to this and object offset. Untick this, then click the cube. Okay. All right. Reason why it's doing that is because I have deformed. Sorry, I've deformed my what do you call it? My curve in object mode. Okay. The reason why it's did that is because I deformed my curve. And if you're having any issue like that, just press Ctrl A to apply all the transforms, and then to just refresh your whole thing. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, let me go to edit mode, select everything, like this, because I want to bring this point up or onto the origin. Okay. Hello, are you following me? I feel like I'm talking to myself. So now we can just increase the array options, and then we rotate. Hello. Wait. Hello. Okay. Marvelous Akomolafe, you're welcome. I believe.
Yeah, thank you, my opinion. So great to be here.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think this is your first class with us, right?
Yes, unfortunately, I'll be quite busy, but today I got the chance.
All right. Okay, so you're welcome all the same.
Yeah, thanks.
Don't worry. If there's the link for. Sorry, you were saying something, Shem.
No, sorry, that was a mistake. Nothing.
Okay. All right. So Marvelous and all the people that joined us today that have been coming on and off. The links for all the classes we've had before are in the YouTube channel. So you can just go to the YouTube channel and you have access to all the classes we'll be having before. So it's important that you watch that, and so that you'll be able to follow along, because we're getting to a point where as we build on it, we'll be building on previous knowledge. So it's kind of you will get lost if you don't follow the basics and the previous classes. Okay, so please do well to do that. Marvelous. You're welcome once again. All right, so the same way we did the jet engine on, we can just rotate this on the y-axis. We don't ignore how this looks. It's just for references. Okay, so if you want to, you can just go into uh, you can rotate each of them around the axis. I don't know, just go crazy with it. I don't want to talk too much about this. I'm just showing us the curves, the how the options for the curves, how we can manipulate curves to suit whatever we want. Okay. So now with that, that's the really the last thing I wanted to talk about on curves. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about that we should have spoken about in that class was the text objects, right? So that like name imply, let me delete everything here to have a fresh scene. Shift A to add a text. Now come here. This is where you see a text object. Then press Shift A, you find text here, and just like name implies, to add a text. Now you might be wondering why what if you want to type something custom, it's not looking. This is just adding the word text. Okay, so you just tap tab to go into edit mode. I can backspace to delete what you can write whatever you want. Okay. Here is awesome. Rather in chess. Meanwhile, in chess, in text objects, you can just backspace and you just write in the correct letter. Okay, so that's the power of text. But you can think, okay, yeah, so that's just cute, but what else is there to text? Okay, there are a lot of things you can do with text objects. Okay, so you can come to the text options here. You notice that when we're in curves, this icon here around this point is to show the curve. But since we're in text now, it's the icon is showing text options. Okay, if you hover your mouse over it to show what the icon is for. So now you can you have the full option, and you notice that some of the options are similar to how it looks like in text objects. In the curve objects rather. So we have same way we have resolution, we have geometry, we have level, we have or in this case we have fonts. Okay, to change different type of font, and you can do that. Just select any of the since we're on regular now, you can come to this file option and to show you all the fonts that you have installed on your system, so you can use any type of font you want. Okay, yeah, I want to use one. Yeah, I can see that it has changed. It has changed the font type. So now another thing you can do is you can increase the depth, just like you can do in what they call it in curve modes. Okay, you can increase the depth, and if you go closer, you see that depth has actually increased. Let me make a shorter text because this is seeming too long. Okay. Yeah, you can scale this up. I can rotate this the same way you manipulate any other view. You can rotate this maybe on the x-axis 90 degrees. Okay. Now you can also extrude it to make it look bigger. Actually, I'm going to change the font of this text. This one is a little bit confusing. Okay, good. Yeah. So you can extrude or extrude it or make it smaller or make it bigger, whichever one. Anything is just based on your own preference. Okay. Now, where you might want to use this is if you want to like emboss or engrave something. Okay, let me see. Maybe I wanted to engrave my initials on this, or maybe I don't know. There's no rule. There are no rules basically. So it's all about how you want to use it, and exactly the same way you can manipulate mesh objects. That's the same way you can manipulate text objects. Okay, so you can move it up. Let me bring up the move this move so you can do anything. You can scale it. Actually, you can scale it on the z axis, flatten it out, stretch it out, scale it on. I don't know. Do anything you want to with it. Okay, that's just basically. There's no big deal to text object. That's just basically these are the few options you have. You can actually add arrays to it. If you want to add an array, um, sorry, yeah, you can add array. Maybe you want the text to repeat. So go crazy with this. Increase the amount of counts. Maybe on whichever the same rules generally the same rules apply. Okay, so that's just the basics of. Let me close this modifier so I don't use it again. That was the basics of the text object. Now, if you are lost, people like Marvelous, because you're joining us today, we've spoken about arrays, we've spoken about subdivisions of it, we've spoken about modifiers generally, what modifiers are, how they help to speed up our workflow. Okay, so all those are in the previous classes, and you can check them on the YouTube link, of course, YouTube channel, of course. So, but those of us that have been on the classes, we understand what I'm talking about, right? Um, Tolu, Stefan, and Oluwashim. Hello.
Can you come again, sir? What's the question?
Were you following me? I was just asking. You understand what I've been doing, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So now, reason why I had to mention this text object briefly is because from now to end of the class, any assignment you'll be doing, you'll be adding the text, or you adding the text of your name. You actually write your name out in a text, emboss it, and then you place it on. It's like you're embossing it on your model. Okay. For example, let me open up the jet engine model that we did. Actually, let me delete this for now. Let me open up the jet engine model that we did. Okay. So this jet engine model that we did. So if I whenever anytime I give you an assignment, I'll ask you to add you must add your name to the in text. Let me bring out this text. Okay. This is the text object. Use object like this. Okay, so you add some depth to it, the geometry, and then you add some depth to it. Okay, so you bring it on and you place it on the object with it. So you must make it visible and place it on, just put it on the object anyway. And when I open your assignment, I'll do that. And if you don't do that, you have to be penalized in the assignment. Okay, so that's why I'm talking about the text object. So I will specify where you place the text object in subsequent assignments. Okay, so now that's what we should have concluded with the last class before we rounded up. So next thing, and what we're having for today, okay, what we have for today, we're supposed to start with mirrors, solidify modifier. We're supposed to talk about 3 more modifiers today. This is what we're supposed to do today. Okay, so we might not, because of time now, we might not be able to finish everything, but I believe we'll just be able to talk briefly on at least 2 of the modifiers, if not 3. The next class will cover that up. Okay, so now let me create a new Blender file. Let's say this. Okay, so let me start with the mirror modifier. And just like the name implies, it mirrors your object. And you might be wondering that why we want to mirror, we kind of like duplicate an object and mirror it in like how it would look like if it was facing a mirror, and then create a mirror object of that in just beside it. Okay, if I had, let me add the typical monkey head here, And if I wanted to mirror this and add the mirror modifier, just look for it. Please bear in mind, since it's a modifier, you find it in the modifier panel. This range, this spanner looking icon. Then click the modifier and look for mirror. Okay. Yeah. So this is mirror modifier. And click on the mirror modifier. And by default, it seems as if nothing happened. That's because we're mirroring on the x-axis. Okay. So if I should bring this out, if you can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, I had a bit of network glitch, and I don't know. I thought I was speaking to myself. Okay, so what I said was, if you a mirror modifier, let me go into front view so you can see properly. Like, it's going to split the object. It's going to like mirror the object about an axis, about a specific axis. Okay, so what if you follow our reference here, the red axis of course is the x-axis. So and the blue axis in fact is the z-axis, right? So if you have something on this side of the axis, okay, and you wanted to duplicate that thing exactly on the other side of the axis, on the other side of the axis, that's what mirror modifier does. Okay, let me close this and show you a powerful effect. Okay, so if you want to let me delete this first. If you wanted to model create something that is perfectly symmetrical, this is the one of the major places that you're using a mirror modifier. So let me add the monkey head. If you wanted to create this monkey head right from scratch, let's assume, but you wanted this half, like this half here, to be exactly the spitting mirror of this other half. What you can do is we're going to let me delete this half first. Let me delete this half. Let's see. So now I have the half of the monkey head, right? So maybe I wanted this monkey to have horns, for example. For some reason, I don't know why you create horns on a monkey, but maybe if you wanted the monkey to have horn, you insert, for example, and then you extrude. So this monkey has horns now. What else? I don't know. Maybe you're done with this half, right? Then you can now create the spitting image of this on the other half, on the to complete the full monkey head. All right, so let me go into object mode, come to the modifier, and then you add a mirror modifier. Notice that immediately I added the mirror, it created the other side. Now please bear in mind that this works. Let me go to front. This works around an axis, around the specific axis. So if you're in object mode and your object is far from an axis, it will just kind of like offset its relatively too. Okay, so it won't really be as if they are joining together like that. So if you come to the options here, you'll be able to see the actual options. Okay, so now it has currently selected the x-axis by default. So that means anything we do will mirror about the x-axis. All right. So that means anything we do will mirror about the x-axis. But if you also want to mirror about the y-axis, you select the y-axis too. Yeah, our object is looking weird. That's because it will take what we have on the positive y-axis and mirror it exactly on the negative y-axis. I can do that with the z-axis too. I can do that with the z-axis too. Okay. Can we all hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
So that's just the basics of the mirror modifier. I'm just looking very strange now. Let me select this. Now the where you want to apply the mirror modifier is like if you know that when you're creating a symmetric shape and you don't want it to be that maybe you modified this, you modified one half, you now have to do the same thing to the other half, or you want everything to work hand in hand, to do the same thing in real time. Okay, so say for example the time I added the horn to this monkey head, and let me add the mirror modifier. I added the horn to this monkey head, it's added to this other side too, right? But maybe this I decided, okay, maybe I want the horn to be longer and I want it to be the same distance. So when I do grab this and move it, the same thing is applying to the other side in real time. But imagine the mirror modifier was not turned on. If I did this, I'll need to come here also and do the same thing to the other side. That's I need to also increase the monkey to the other side, and it will likely not be equal. It's likely not be symmetric because you're doing it manually. One side might be longer than the other. All those kind of disparities. You understand what I mean? Okay, so that's just the basic advantage of the mirror modifier. All right. So there's no really much big deal to the mirror modifier. That's just all you can do. The basics. There are some more advanced things you can do with the mirror modifier, but you will likely not be using it as such, or it's beyond the scope of this class. I may briefly mention it in subsequent classes, but for now, these if you know this, these are the basic things you need to know about the mirror modifier. All right. So okay. So the next modifier we'll be talking about is the solidify modifier. Solidify modifier, and solidify modifier is there's not really big to it. It's just like the name implies, it solidifies the object. Now, what I did the other time that it appeared as if my object disappeared on one, and it's because it's lying on place. Say if I added a cylinder, for example, now, okay, and I will go into edit mode. Let me say I delete the two faces of the cylinder, making it perfectly hollow. Um, into the if I go to the top view of the cylinder, and it seems as if the cylinder disappeared. Now I'm object mode. If I go to the cylinder is actually very flat. Like, how do I describe it? It's infinitely flat. Blender doesn't recognize any thickness to it. Okay, it only recognizes the face. Like if you're looking at it from one angle, Blender doesn't recognize any thickness to it. So if you want to add thickness to your object, you come to the modifier. There's a modifier that does that. Now you can actually just I don't know, select all the faces and extrude. You can now scale this outward. Yeah, it's added thickness quite right, but it's you notice that it's kind of hard to fiddle with. Um, and the only reason why I could add thickness so easily to a cylinder is because it's a simple object cylinder. What if you have like a complex object like the monkey head now, for example, monkey head, or let me make it a torus, for example, mesh. A torus is that donut looking shape, okay? So if I wanted to add, let's assume this was the Apple spaceship. I believe we know the Apple spaceship. That's the headquarters for the company Apple. Okay, so let me delete this is here. So now notice that this is also very it's just like a thin uh, it's not solid. But if this was like the Apple spaceship, that the the apple really looks like a donut actually. So you wanted the walls to have some form of thickness to it because as it is right now, it doesn't have any thickness, and it might give you some problems. Now, reason why I'm specifying, I'm stressing this is because in my experience, if you are working with VR, or if you are working with basically VR, and you model your object in Blender and you're exporting it to GLB or to GLB where you're using it in VR. If you're having objects that don't have thicknesses like this, they will present problems. Trust me, I've experienced a lot of problems with that before. If they don't have thickness, sometimes in the VR it might be transparent. Sometimes it does not even recognize that as a wall. I don't know. It's a headache. So to fix that, all you have to do is you just come into the modifiers here, and you add a solidify modifier. And just like the name implies, you notice that it added like a bit of thickness to it, and you can edit how thick it is by coming to this thickness here, and make it thicker and make it thinner, or you type in the specific number you want. So it has added some thickness to it. um, all these other options to make the thickness even around the entire object, or you can make the thickness to be specific to only the rims, the rims of the object. Okay, so whichever way you want. So that's the basic. That's literally all what solidify modifier does. There's not really much big deal to it. Yeah, I'm trying to rush it up so that we can finish um the modifiers, and because we're running out of time. Excuse me. Okay, so um so is there any question about the solidify modifier and the mirror modifier that we've talked about since? Please, I need to have some feedback now. Hello.
No question from my end.
Okay, so we understand what the basic modifiers do. All those two modifiers that I've mentioned, the solidify and the mirror modifier.
Yes.
All right, good. So now I'll be talking about another very powerful modifier that will speed up your workflow 10x. Okay, so let's say, for example, I created let me close this. Maybe I should even delete this and start fresh. If I have a mesh, a cylinder now, and I have a cube. Let me have a cube. Okay. So now, if I wanted to create a cylinder, a hole through this cube, right? That is exactly the shape of this cylinder. I wanted to create a hole through this cube. The initial way that I would have done that is I'm going to maybe edit mode of the cube. Okay, I'll select the top face, select the bottom face. Now I spoke about insert in the previous classes, so I'll just press I for insert. It's set to like create another face and scale it inward. Then I'll now X to delete the faces, or maybe I'll try to round in the cube a bit, but that will mess with our geometry. So let me just insert. Okay. Okay. Sorry, let me. Insert, right? Now if I delete the faces, then I'll now find a way to join these two faces so that I won't have open geometry like that. So I'll go into edge select mode, select this edge and this edge, join. Remember I said or fill rather, to add a face between two edges you fill, to add an edge between two vertices you fill. Those are just two options. You can fill the edges in between two vertices, the edge between two vertices, and you can fill the face in between two edges, right? So the same thing, and you can actually just select all the edges too and fill. Do the same thing here. You select edges 1, 2, and 3. You fill. Do the same thing again. 1, 2, and 3. You fill, and now you've created a hole. But if you want this hole to be circular now, you start looking for it to bevel the hole. Okay, I'm doing this to see how cumbersome it might be if I want to do it manually. Select one more of this. Yes, I've layered the edges. Now bevel them. Remember how I said you bevel, control B to bevel, just to make it rounder, and then you maybe increase the versus. So now this is how I would create a hole if I was doing it manually, right? So I've created a hole through the cube. But there's a very much simpler way to do that in Blender. Okay, let me delete everything. What we can do is we can add. This is the cube, right? We can use an object to cut through another object. Okay. Now, how do you do that? What we use is called the bevel modifier. Sorry, the Boolean modifier. Sorry, what we use is the Boolean modifier, right? So what we do is we add the object that we want to cut, right? Now add the shape of the cutter object. That's the object that is cutting through the shape. Okay, so let me bring it out so you can see it properly. So this is a cylinder. I want to cut the shape of this cylinder into this. Okay, so let me reduce the thickness of the size of the cylinder. What I did was I scaled it. I pressed S to scale. But if you want I told you that if you want to exclude one axis, maybe you want to scale any object, or you want to scale something on two axes basically. without scaling, without messing with the third axis. So you press shift, you press the scale, I press shift, and you exclude the third axis that you want to exclude, and press it, and then it will constrain it only to the x and y axis. And notice that you are constrained to the x and y axis because those two axes are highlighted. Okay, that's the red and the green. All right, so basically we have a cylinder here. I'm thinking I should make this bigger, like this. Yeah, it's good enough like this. Now I want to cut it into the center of this object. Okay, and because my cursor is in the center, remember I told you how to snap this. I could actually bring it to the center, but I may not get the proper center. But to snap it into the row center, and just select the object and shift S to bring up the snapping options, and then you snap up the selection, which is the object, to the cursor. Okay, selection to cursor. Okay, so to snap it to the center, right? So now I have it here. So now how do you add this Boolean modifier? Now you select the object that the main object that you want to cut, okay? And you come to the modifier options, then you click the drop down to bring up the modifiers, and then you look for Boolean. So this is Boolean, okay? You can select Boolean, and once you select Boolean, you now use the same dropper that we have in array modifier. Select this, you click the eyedropper, and then you click on the object that is going to cut through the your initial object. So you can select it here. Now, but if you look at it, it seems as if nothing happened. Okay, and that's because we've not applied the modifier, right? So if you go to wireframe, that's when you see what it's actually doing. Okay, in wireframe, that's that you can see that the shape is actually displayed, and the cutting is actually in real time. So if you move this around, that's that the shape of the cut is changing. I don't know if you can see it properly. Shape of the cut is changing. But to make the cut permanent, okay, let me go back to solid view. Okay, to make the shape of the cut permanent, what you do is you click apply, you come down here, you come to the modifier itself, then you click the this drop down here to show you a few options. Then you click apply. Okay, you can also press Ctrl A while your mouse is over here to apply the modifier. Once you apply the modifier, now you can now bring this out. You see that it has cut through the shape of the object. Okay, because let me undo to show you that if you have not applied it and you bring it out, it won't cut because the cutting is in real time. Okay, so once you apply that, it will cut through the object. Now there are a few options for Boolean modifier. Do you understand this Boolean modifier? Hello, Stefan. Toluokwe. Yeah, and okay, good. Yeah, so the Boolean modifier, if there are a few options to it. Now the first one that I explain now is to cut through the object, right? But what if what you want to do is you want to like combine these two objects together in such a way that all of them will become one object and it will produce this shape. What you now do is if you notice there are three different options here. There's intersect, there's difference, and then there's union. Okay, so if you wanted to combine the two objects together, all you will select is union. Okay, now you notice that
I don't care, Simon, enough for you, bro.
it's like having this selection is now covering the whole thing. Now to make that permanent, the same way you do, you apply modifier. Now you select only the cylinder and bring out the cylinder. You notice that everything has it has created the object here. It's looking like this NCA microphone now. Yeah. So basically that's it about the union. If you wanted to add two objects together, but you want the profile to like the new object to have like a profile of the initial object, you can use the Boolean modifier to just add it. And then the third option, which is the intersect, I've control Z to undo a few times. The intersect, okay, just like the name implies, it will look for the point at which the two objects intersect. Okay, so the point at the volume of which the two objects intersect, that's the cylinder and the cube. Okay, so the intersect is this. Maybe I can try to rotate it a bit so I can understand that it's going to. Let me hide this first. So now these are cube and these are cylinder. So the intersect would be like, it will look like a I don't know, it looks like a cube that has been I don't. It will just intersect the two shapes, basically the two shapes of the cube and the cylinder together. So let me. What I did was that I hid the display effect of the modifier. So this icon, that's what it does. It just hides the display. So if I'm to apply this now, and bring out my this, you can see that the intersect the shape, the shape of how the cube looks like, plus the cylinder has been created. Okay, so that's one powerful tool that you can use, and your imagination is your limit. Like I said, and this can speed up your workflow 20x. Just if you have like an object that rather if you are rather than having to model the object, the intricacies of the object, just look for another cutter object, shape the cutter object to the desired shape, and then place it at the appropriate place. Then you add the boolean modifier, and it will help you to cut in the object
Enter.
that you want.
Oh, you do it already.
Okay.
On enough now.
So that's just the basics of the boolean and the array modifier. Do you have any questions concerning this? Okay. Do we have any question concerning this?
Yes.
Hello.
No one here knows on the record.
Sorry, I want to ask question about the boolean.
All right. Please go ahead.
If we want to make a multiple, let's say like a cylindrical stuff that will have multiples the cylinder. So are we going to make several cylinder that will use to penetrate those holes? How am I going to? Do you get the question that I'm trying to ask?
I think I have an idea of the question you're asking, and I'm going to let me quickly make an example to show you. Do you know this? Do you know all these cowboy guns? You watch American movies?
Yes.
You know that? Do you know the cylinder of the?
Yes, the one that contains the bullets.
Exactly.
Yes.
When individual bullets. So if you wanted to model something like that, your question is like, will you have to create each cylinder for each of the holes to cut through the stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me quickly do a modeling exercise so you can follow along and see how that will be done. Okay.
Okay.
So let me do everything.
Thank you.
Let me do everything. That's a very good question, actually. This is where the knowledge of your modifiers. We'll be using the modifiers that you know before. We'll be using array modifier. I'll be using the boolean modifier, and this is where you can actually apply multiple knowledge of modifier. You can use more than one modifier at the same time. Okay, just have that in mind. So first of all, let me add in. I told you if you're modeling anything, you can add in a shape that looks most like the initial object you're trying to model. Okay, so since we are modeling that bullet cylindrical place, so let's create this first. Let's create a cylinder, and now we need to make the bullet holes, the holes where each bullet rests. Okay, so let's make another cylinder. Let's add another cylinder. Okay, let me scale that. Let me remember, you don't manipulate your cylinders in your object in object mode. So I'm going to edit mode now. Scale on Shift C. Make it taller a bit so you can see it. Just so you can see it. Okay. Let me scale on Shift C to make it thinner. About the diameter of the bullet. Okay. All right. So now what I'll be using now. Okay, these are another. I spoke about empties in the previous class. That I said empties don't really change your scene. They don't really change your scene, but they are like target points. Okay. So now I don't want to use this cylinder as the object offset because we'll be making an object offset. Okay. I don't want to use this cylinder as the object offset. I'll be using an empty so that it doesn't really affect my every other thing I'm doing. Okay. So let me add an empty. Okay, this is an empty. I should add an empty. Let me add a sphere. Okay. The sphere is there. Okay, you might not be able to see it properly because it's hidden by this thing. Now I don't want to touch the sphere, because if I touch the sphere, maybe scale it down or upward, it's going to mess with object offsets, okay, of the bullet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select. Let me go to wireframe so I can still see the sphere. I'm going to go to array. Okay, I believe you understand the steps I'm taking. You should know how to do this. Mustafa.
Yes, yes, I get it.
Okay, so I'm using the array. So I'm going to apply the array to this. I'm going to use the object offset of an empty as the object offset, right? So I'm selecting the empty, right? Now, of course, it will look as if nothing's happening. But let me go into edit mode. Okay. Solid view. Now I want to position the notice I'm in edit mode, so that's why I can move this around. I want to position the this at the point where it will look to the bullet will likely be the bullet's space will likely be. So I'm moving this to the edge just for one of the bullets, right? So now I'm going back into object mode and I want to select my sphere, right? So now if you rotate the sphere on the z-axis, right, it will duplicate this into the different points. You understand how we do this? There should be no question about this, right? Most of you understand how we do this, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, good. So all those revolvers usually have about six bullets. So let me make my holes. Let me make about 6 holes. Yeah. Revolvers usually have about 6 bullets, so we can rotate this about z-axis. Bullets, and I think this is okay. All right. So now we've created the profile to cut through the shape, right? So we can now use this. We can now use all these these cylinders to cut through this the chamber that holds the bullets. All right. So we select the bullet because that's the object that we're cutting. We add the Boolean modifier to it. Boolean. Okay. And then we can now add we can now use the object offset. We can now select this cylinder that we added the array to. Okay. So now, of course, you look as if nothing is happening, and I told you it applies in real time. So if you go into wireframe, you see the holes that are already cut, that have been cut already. Can you see that? So if you want to make it permanent, all you just do is apply the modifier. Let's go back into object mode. So you can now come here. You can, since they are cut objects, you can actually just delete it because we don't have need for it again. You can delete it, and we have already created the bullet hole chambers for our revolver. Okay, do you understand that now? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes. I understand, sir.
So that's just the trick to it. There's no big. So you can add modifier to something that add modifier to something that add modifier. The modifier you can go crazy with it. Just add multiple modifiers, and even on the same this particular one. Let me undo Control Z a few times. See this, right? You can add multiple modifiers to this. You can add an array modifier to this. Means that I've added an array modifier while there's still another modifier on it. Notice that the okay, sorry. I want to undo to the point before I applied the head. So now I can add an array modifier to this. Notice that there are 2 modifiers. The first, there's a Boolean modifier on this that I've not added, and then there's another array modifier again on the same cylinder object. So you can go crazy with this. I have like a few, I don't know. So as a matter of fact, it's even good so that because you'll be able to see what is happening to the object in real time. So if you move this, you'll be able to see the points at which the array is actually working. And you can add more. I told you can add multiple arrays to any individual object. Let me even make this more detailed to show you what I mean. Let me space a bit. Sorry. Let me space my parts more. It's a bit more. Okay, now the real revolver has like a kind of groove on its outer side too. So let me add another array modifier on top of this array modifier. So I can come here, add another array. Okay, but in this array I'll still be using the object offset. No, I'll be using the object offset and the
You enter room.
Or you know what? Rather than okay, let me just add an array since I said I'll add an array. I'll be using the same empty. Remember these are empty. Okay, okay. I think let me just deselect this. Yeah, okay. Okay, the reason why it did that is because it's kind of um like it's intersecting. It's how do I explain this? Let me close this so you see. You know, I told you that if you add two, you can have a point that it will intersect, like it will intersect the point at which the two shapes cross each other. I don't know if you understand what I mean. And that's the like it's forming like a loop. I don't know how to explain, like a loop over two modifiers.
Now
Okay,
Joshua.
so you can actually do that, or
So
you
just
can
take
come
one
here.
here.
Let me go into the edit mode. You can see edit the cutter
Serious.
object, right? This is the cutter object, so you can let me duplicate this. Bring this to the x-axis. Yeah. Uh, good. So let me come to this. Let me bring this something like this. Yeah, you notice that this is how revolvers usually look, something like this, right? That they have like some form of grooves on them too. You understand what I mean? I'm just making an illustration. Okay. So now you can apply your modifier. Sorry, apply the modifier on the on. No, since we don't want an array, let's just apply it on this. Okay, and we can now delete this object, and you've gotten your, can delete that too, your revolver casing, your bullet holder for the revolver. It's as simple as that. So you can add modifiers to modifiers to modifiers to modifiers. You can go crazy with it. You can, and just bear in mind the hierarchy of the modifiers matter. It's important. Look at this now. Now, the hair there's the first. Let me select this the cylinder first. The first, notice that the first modifier that was added was the boolean
I'm gonna
modifier,
get notes
right?
from my house.
Now,
My friend pass, come on.
Okay,
if
no
the
noise.
first modifier, the stack is, if the array modifier is the first one that is added,
From my house.
and the order might differ. So at first, you notice that the hose is not applying on the array of the cylinder. That's because it's like saying that first of all you create an array, then after you created the array, then you're now creating the the boolean on the array. And I think I mentioned it earlier. I made a joke when I was using Stefan in the previous classes, that I said if Stefan was going on a date, I don't know why I'm picking Stefan as random. If Stefan was going on a date now, for example, he's going on a date with a beautiful lady. What he will do is he will first likely he'll take his bed, of course. He'll put on some nice perfumes, then he'll put on his clothes, then he put on his shoes and he gets set, right? You won't find Stefan putting on his perfume first, then going to take a bath, and then maybe wearing his shoes, then like that. You understand that there has to be an order to it. Okay, first he will do something, then he will do something, they will do something on top of that. So that's the same thing with the array, the modifier stack. You have to watch how you add the modifier stack, because if you change the order, it can entirely change how the object looks, or how they are applied. Okay, that's just simple thing about it. All right, do you get that now? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. All right, so that's just the basics of the array modifier. So have I answered your question, Mustafa?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So let me press
Uh,
X.
uh, One again. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
When we are, we added those Boolean circle, those cylinder on a plane surface. What about if there are meshes on, like if you are turning the cylinder now, if you are turning it sideways, will the Boolean not affecting the mesh? Like the mesh will be on. How will I say it? When we turn the cylinder on horizontal aspects, like laying not we are not applying that boolean now on a plane surface. We are adding it on a mesh-like surface. Will the mesh will not be intercepting the the boolean like that? Like when the holes are being punctured,
If
will it not be forming a concave like structure? Like I don't know how I'm going to put if I can see an example. I have an example actually, but I don't know if because I'm not with my system here. So maybe after the class, I
Yeah.
can show you what I'm actually talking about.
Now, I want to address your question in the class too, but I really don't understand the question, what you're trying to say. Can you explain
Uh,
it again? Let me see if I understand.
like if we if that example that you make now, the O's are being made on a flat surface. Like there is no mesh on the flat surface. Like yes, back to the origin of that cylinder gongon.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
face, the face. There is no mesh like all this.
Okay. I think I understand what you're trying to say. Let's say, for example, this original cylinder doesn't have a
Yes,
face.
yes.
Okay.
No, like wait, it has a face, but there's no mesh. Like if we put the cylinder on what's it called, wireframe mode.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Wi-Fi.
If you put the cylinder on wireframe mode, those straight lines are mesh. Like they are mesh. So I'm not trying to say if we turn that cylinder on horizontal aspect, like no, we are not applying the boolean on that plane surface. Now we are actually adding it on that aspect where there's those straight lines are forming. You
Okay.
get?
Something like sorry.
We should rotate. If we should rotate the
Right.
yes, the cylinder.
Okay. So I'm coming.
No, the
Let
cylinder.
me let me select these two so I can rotate it together. Okay. So rotate on maybe X axis, right?
Yes. Either
Yeah. Sorry.
yes,
Before,
yes,
let me just
yes,
explain.
yes, just like that.
Yeah, let me just explain something. Please note the only reason why I'm able to rotate an object that I added an array modifier without having issues is because I'm rotating both the object and the and
Space
the
empty.
and the object offset too. You have to update both the object that has the array and the object offset. If you manipulate two of them together, there won't be any issues. Okay, even if you are doing that in object mode. All right. So that's I just wanted to mention that. So yeah, continue. I'm listening.
Now, okay, that's what I wanted to see. If the mesh won't be as affecting, and it's actually not affecting. So, because I actually did something like that, and it was affecting the mesh are affecting the O. So they are now performing something like concave like structure on that
Okay.
cylinder. So it was as if it was being dent when you are trying to puncture something with
Yeah.
nails, and the stuff
Yeah.
was now performing a dent like stuff on the cylinder. So
I
that's
think I
what it
understand.
was doing. So
Okay. Maybe it's because the cutting didn't go through. Please bear in mind the cutting doesn't have to go all through. So you can have something like like digging a hole. Understand? Like okay, you notice that this hole now, this one in the center here, it didn't go all through the cylinder. It stopped in the middle. Okay. So please bear in mind that you can actually
okay,
do that.
okay.
So, but do I does your question is has the question been answered?
Yes,
Most of-
yes, yes. I can see it now.
Okay.
So yes, I can see it now. It has already answered my question.
All right. Okay. Is there any other question? Oluwashim, I believe you have your system with you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You have your system with you, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Can you? I'm sure you should be able to recreate this. The what do they call it? The chamber for the revolver that we just did now. You should be able to
Yes.
recreate that. Excellent. I think your assignment will even be to model an entire revolver from scratch.
The revolver or just the chamber?
No, just the chamber. I'm coming. I need to start sharing your screen so you can do that, so we can watch you how you achieve that. So just to show you how you can use the array modifier and the boolean modifiers together. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
All right. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. Proceed. We're waiting. We're watching you. Busola, you're welcome. Sorry, I haven't seen you since. I think I was saying something about your assignment. Proceed though.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen. Olive Shen, we can see your screen. Exactly. Remember, you don't scale in up in object mode. Okay. Alright, that's good. Now can you can create the extra dentures that are in the outer part of the cylinder.
Come again?
Create the dentures that are on the outer part of the cylinder, like the dents, the cuts that made the outer part of the chamber, like the bullet chamber.
I don't not sure I know what.
Okay, you know what? Go
Let me see
the
reference.
bullets, what they call it, the bullets holes, right? Select that.
Yes.
Go into edit mode.
Go to.
Go into edit mode of that.
Okay.
So now duplicate this and bring it to the outer part. Yeah, exactly. Now make it touch just the outside of the cylinder.
Okay.
Are you scaling that? No, just grab or G to grab exactly. So that's what I wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
You understand what exactly? All right, excellent. That was good. Um, you can stop sharing your screen now. I think we have it. Then Tolu there. Marvelous. Were you able to follow along this, or you? Hello.
No. I wasn't able to, follow exclusively, but I think
Maybe
I might have to just go through some of the.
previous
I just
things.
downloaded Blender on my laptop just
Oh,
about
okay.
when we're on this
All
call.
right.
Yeah.
Just if you have any problems with the installation of Blender, or you have any problems online, you can just drop it on the group and I'll think, or you DM me, send me a private message.
Is there like a WhatsApp group? Which group is that? And what's the
The
channel?
African XR group.
Okay. What's the YouTube channel? Sorry, I'm not sure. I know.
No, Masarishi will attend to you. Or can just type it in the comment section so you'll be able
Okay.
to get to it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Mubarak, how about you?
Oh, yes. Hello.
Are you sleeping?
No. No.
Okay.
So I followed.
Yeah. Can we have your screen now?
Anyway. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so results, window. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, just Give me a second. Trying to work this out.
You don't have your Blender open up, do you?
No, it's I'm working from a Mac and they're on different desktops. So I'm trying to bring them to the same desktop so I can be able to share them, share the screen rather.
Okay.
Yep. Share. Oh, I can't share. Oh my god.
What's the problem?
I don't know. It's saying it can't share. There's an error message.
Okay.
Just give me a second to resolve it all.
All right. Okay. Okay. Let me share my own screen so that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So now, for this class, this will be your assignment. It's not too much of a big deal. Something we just do in class. Okay. Can we see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, Busola. I was saying something. Did you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. I was. You missed the last two or three classes. I was speaking about your first assignment. There were some errors I wanted to. We should have corrected together. But that's okay.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but were you able to follow along in this class though?
Yes, I can see you're talking about array modifier. So I was thinking maybe if I watch the previous classes, I will be able to catch on track.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. There's no big deal to the array modifier. It's in the.
Yes, I saw him do the O's now. So I think by the time I practice, I should be able to.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's good.
Thank
okay, so I believe we can all model this in Blender now. Everybody. We should all be able to model this. Hello.
By the grace of God.
Exactly. I love that. Okay, so we should all be able to model this in Blender. So this will be our assignment for today. You'll be modeling this, and not just modeling the roughly. You have to model to accuracy. So it has to be as accurate as this. And you can apply all the knowledge of all the modifiers we're using. Remember, I'm just giving you expo number one, expos. So you can use array modifier to have the substitution solution modifier to have the smoothness. And if your smoothness is kind of crashing, then you use your crease. Those are knowledge of all the things we've done in the past. I told you the subsequent assignment will be a build on the knowledge we've done of all the things we've done all together. So now it has to be as smooth as possible. Make this accurate, and you see the denture on the outside, denture on the outside, and then the holes, and then the bullets. Okay. So what I want to do is this is what I want to do. You model the bullets individually, separately. Okay. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
You model the bullets separately, then you bring the bullets out, something like the way this is brought out now. When you use the bullet to cut, use the bullet to as the cutter object to cut the holes into the chamber. So when you cut the chamber, cut the shape into the chamber, then you now bring the bullet out separately inside it. So what I want to see is I want to see your bullet and your chamber. That's what I want to see in your assignment. Okay. So now one last thing. Should I not? Okay, so I believe that's all. Okay. So Mubarak, are you ready? So Mubarak.
Mr. Mayakon, you said I should remind you about the assignment stuff at the end of the class. So, a reminder.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you. That's true, actually. Thank you. I'm coming, bro. We still need a few minutes. After a few minutes, I'll get to it. Okay.
Okay.
So Mubarak, is Mubarak still there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay.
Live. Come on, people. Come on.
I hear you wrestling. Don't fight.
Yep. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can now. Okay, so you can see a screen. Please proceed.
So I wasn't quite following in the class, but sure. Why not?
No, you can do it.
So how do I add the array? Okay, so I add an array modifier here.
You know we added the jet engine. Exactly.
Sorry?
You know how did the jet engine now?
Yeah.
And so exactly how you did that. So you know that a revolver usually has 6 bullets, but depending on the model, I don't know. But revolvers usually have 6 bullets, so that means you likely want to make your 6 yeah.
So that is done. 106. Okay. Why is it not going round? Why is it not going round?
I was waiting for you to notice that. Okay, you I think you moved the object in what do you call it? In object mode rather. Stefan, stop laughing.
I duplicated.
You see your own now, Stefan.
Okay,
Stefan
wait.
is laughing.
It's not hard. Don't worry. It's just to do like this.
Apply.
Control A, all transform.
No, you move. Okay, wait, hold on. What did you use as your? No, wait.
Oh, so I duplicated this cylinder to make this other cylinder.
Okay, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, so that's
okay. Wait. I'm talking of what do you use as the object offset?
This cylinder.
You don't use that cylinder in this case. Now, the reason is being that is because you'll be rotating the cylinder.
Oh
right?
yeah, an empty.
Yeah, you should use an empty. Now, okay, the thing is you can actually use it. No, you know what? You can still use it.
Let me just create an empty. It's easier to work with an empty.
Exactly, it's easier
if you parent it, and then yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, in the spirit.
So let me use plain access.
Remember, don't you see? As can you empty, you have issues. You know what? If you want to increase the size of the empty without scaling the empty, go to bring your mouse towards the. You saw, go to that tab where you usually find the modifiers. Yeah, one of those icons. You see, go to the icon of the empty. The icon that looks like an empty. That looks like cardinal point.
Yeah, I'm there.
Down. Second to the last icon. Yeah. Now increase that size there. No, just drag, increase exactly. So that's the way you can increase the size without actually increasing the size. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I get it now.
Okay. And why are you
Mm.
clicking two of them?
Sorry?
Continue. You are clicking. You click both.
Yeah, I was parenting the cylinder to the empty.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
And then so yes, this one.
You rotate to empty.
So my empty. Alpha.
Wait. Select everything you're seeing and add and apply transforms. A to select everything. Apply transforms. Okay. So sometimes it's not really about the object itself. It's about the object, the one of the two, either the array object or the cylinder, the object that you actually apply the. You understand what I mean? The modifier to.
So it's not about this. It's about. Sorry, it's not about this. It's about this.
Yeah, it's not about only that. It's sometimes about even the empty itself, both the empty, the object offset, and the object itself. Two of them, they must be in the origin.
Okay, so if I go to edit mode.
You can go to edit mode of a.
Yeah, for empty. But even if I rotate, since this is okay, I can still rotate this on its own.
Bear in mind, you can actually, but that is not doing anything because that's not your object offset.
Yes, I just realized.
The empty is the object offset. Okay, you're using the cylinder now.
Yes, I've switched it.
So that means there's no point of the empty.
Okay. Okay, no, let me switch it back. No, I want the empty. I want the empty.
Okay. Everyone, please, are you following Mubarak's?
I'm in chaos. Nobody should follow me.
But just take points from what he's talking about from his work.
360.
Okay. No, you can just eyeball it if you can't really. Well, think of this. Okay, if you want to know the the accurate angle, just think of if you have a circle and you divide the circle into 6 equal parts. What
Yeah,
angle will be which
I use 60.
each section will be?
I use 60.
Yeah, exactly 60. Excellent. That's 60 degrees now.
Yeah, 60 degrees.
Okay,
So here now I can apply another Boolean. I don't know if I've activated Boolean. Let me just check. Sorry.
No, what are you doing?
I'm checking to see if I activated it.
No, it's actually no. It's there already.
No, I tried using it before. It didn't work until I
okay.
activated it.
Okay, it's the fact that it's there. Okay, well, but
See,
you know
it's
what you should just do? Just use the boolean now to select your quarter object and let's see.
Okay.
You look at that algebra too. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So it has actually cut through the object, but it won't appear as if it has done anything anyways. But if you go to wireframe first. They can select the chamber, the blade chamber. Now, if you zoom in, you see that it's showing the profile of the cut.
It's not showing. It's supposed to show circles like around.
Okay. Sorry. Now, this is the problem. You are adding the Boolean modifier to the wrong object. Look at that.
Okay. Let's check that Boolean again.
Yeah, the Boolean object. Sorry, hold on. Let me just tell you in class too. Now, when you're adding a Boolean modifier, you're adding the Boolean to the object that is the one that is going to be cut, like the object that is being cut. That's like the object that will most likely that will look like the final result the most, the main object. That's what you're adding the Boolean to. Then
Works.
the object that is going to be the cutter, that's what you are going to use as a cutting object. You understand? Exactly. You don't make that mistake. It can be very tricky sometimes.
Yeah, so that is done.
Okay, so you can, if you like, you can go ahead and delete those circles for those cylinders that are used as the cutter object.
Isn't there a way to make this not show?
Make what not show?
These cylinders on top.
Not sure. You can delete them now. That's why I said you can go ahead and delete them. As long as hold on. Hope you've added the modifier. Have you added the boolean?
No, I did not apply it. Yes, I added the boolean.
If you apply the also you have to apply the boolean or else to not be permanent.
All right, so apply.
You can hover your mouse over there and press Ctrl A. That's shortcut for you.
So now
hover your mouse over there and press Ctrl A.
Done.
Okay. You can select the cylinders and delete the
Oh, nice.
Nice. So apparently your what do you call it? The empty is practically useless now. If you can delete that. Okay, good, excellent. So
sorry, no, I'm listening.
Okay, we use the same technique to create the. Let me start sharing my screen. You can stop sharing your screen now. We don't want to see your screen again. Carry your screen and go.
My screen is very fine. Okay.
Okay, so we use the same technique to create the external groups of the external groups here. Okay, so this will be your assignment, like I said. But like I said, your assignment you have to start using textures to target. So what I want you to do, okay, you know what? I'm going to teach you one more modifier. It's which we were not supposed to do the modifier today, but there's no big deal about the modifier. So I'll be teaching you the modifier now. Okay. So now, I believe you can see my screen. So let me basically when I add something, maybe I added this cylinder here, okay, and I want my name to be written all around this cylinder, and I want the name to be to be written on this cylinder, right? I can actually come and add a text object. Okay, remember we have a text object. Let me bring it out like this. Okay, so we have a text object here. All right, so I can edit it. I don't know. Mayor. I want my name to be written on this object. So first of all, I've created the text object of the name that I want to be written here. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to like somewhat match up my name to place the name on the surface. But if I place the name on the surface, it's not going to wrap around the object. So let me do that first. Let me put it on X90. Let me standing now. Let me put another 90 about Z. Okay. Please watch closely because you need to do this in your assignment, right? Okay. I was thinking we'll be able to talk about this in another class, but I just thought let's just talk about it now. Why not? Okay. So now, if I'm to try to place this, you can see that it's still like sticking out. It's not wrapping around. Now there's a modifier that makes you wrap anything around anything. Okay. Let me repeat myself. There's a modifier that allows you to wrap anything around anything. So what that modifier is called shrink wrap modifier. So if I want to wrap this text around this object now, what I'll do is with the text selected, I'll go into the modifier and I'll add the shrink wrap. Sorry. You add the object that you are wrapping to, rather. That's the one you select you select the that's the one you add the modifier to. Please take note. It can be quite, you can miss it sometimes. So you're adding the modifier to this object because that's the one you're wrapping to, right? So you select the shrink wrap modifier. Shrink wrap. Where is it? Yeah, shrink wrap is right here. Okay. So you select shrink wrap. Now it's going to ask you which object are you shrink wrapping to. Which object are you is shrink wrapping
You mean
on this object. So
I'm
this
recording?
is it. We are shrink wrapping this text object. So we're going to come here and select this target. I'm going to select this. Okay. I'm going to select the text object. Sorry. Give me a second. Oh no, sorry. You see, I missed it again. It can be tricky sometimes. What you are shrink wrapping. Okay. Please bear in mind this can it's even sometimes I have to do it a few times to get it to. You are shrink wrapping this mail text object on this, right? So what you're adding the shrink wrap to is this mail.
And the small garden where the text first. Not be food dey fire.
You don't cook and finish.
Not be food dey fire.
I ask you question, you cook and finish.
You dey ask me question. You no fit go cook and see the kind garden wey go low. You cook and finish. No always make food enter your mouth. They don tell you say first small garden. You dey ask me I cook and finish.
Why you no go cook am?
It's your own country. Go reduce that garden. Go and reduce that garden.
But you don't stop me.
Ebuka, I no dey stop you. Go reduce the garden. Go reduce am.
Why didn't me?
Go reduce the
No, you na beg. What do you?
You know what's doing the garden be that. See that control for kitchen. You see the plate where you dey do it garden. You don't say you know what I know. Na to pack garden put am. You cook and finish. Which work you don do for this house?
What you concern you go dey acting now?
What you concern me? You say you no go drink the garden. You no go reduce am.
I forget now. You go tell you. But don't you go for your own now. But I go to. Now this is for trouble now. Really? What they do now?
Go reduce that garden.
Really? Really now? I don't make this thing go for you.
Before now you.
Somebody.
I don't leave this rubber paper. No break am.
One thing.
I say what the garden. Yeah, I will collect am for about you know carry am comot. See that place wey you no even know. This is like that and you know what.
You don't know. Don't know what's going on now. I don't get that. I don't get that. Don't worry. You know, you know how to get it. You know that's what the life will go. You know. You want to get that? Oh, sis.